race it, and I'm too sad. Like a good book, I can't pull this deep end. Let's sold a fairy tale with you.
Last year I was touring. I was in the States going from city to city on a bus with a 1-year-old. So I would come on after the show and relieve the nanny. And you're still pretty, your adrenaline's going. I mean, it's like you've just been running this race and having a love affair with a couple thousand people. So, I mean, that can keep you up for at least 20 minutes after the show. And I would be up listening to her breathing on the monitor as the buses would be going to the next town through the night. And you're almost like crossing timeline. It could have been 100 years ago if you didn't know you were on a bus. But there's nobody most of the time. And you see the signs, and I would start researching, looking up these places and what happened there. And I realized that the Native American layer of America is almost as if it never happened to modern society. But to the land itself, they're keepers of this land. And they take it very seriously. But really being out there with the stories and events that happened on this land, the blood that was spilled, the songs that were sung, the stories that were told. My grandfather really tried to instill that in me. He was Eastern Cherokee. And I guess going, really immersing yourself in it. Of course, there are certain places. The Southwest is more in touch with the Native American influence than other places. But I was surprised where I would find people, just the average person, wanting to kind of know, who is this land? What is this creature that we call, well, we call her America, you call her Germany. But who is this being? Separate from us and the arrogance of us. If you're going to write about America at this time, she herself as a soul is questioning if she is in the right hands. If her path is being twisted in some way to what the original agreement was. Now, America was made on broken agreements, because when the Europeans came, of course, there were agreements with the 500 nations. Every inch of land was being caretaken. It wasn't like, come on over, Europe, free for all. No, that wasn't what was happening. What was happening is, yes, come and plant and grow. And white brother, let's exchange. And in some cases it was go. But in the end, the agreements were not upheld. And it's our loss as a country, because their medicine, their wisdom, what they knew of the soul of this land has not been integrated. Different than the Greeks. You know, it's been integrated. Their history, the stories, it's in their fabric. That's why scarlet is a thread. She's looking for it. And it was circumcised from our history. I know more about German history, if I'm going to school in America, than I do about what really happened, how America was acquired. And that's not an accident. And so yes, Scarlet's Walk is talking about where America stands today. When you're inside America, you don't get information. If you're just an average person going to school, you don't get the information about what the government is up to like you do when you're in Europe. So the people, in some ways, you don't have to burn books there. It's much more covert than that. They give you 437 channels so that you can't find the information. And also, the people controlling the news is something that happens between the weather and entertainment, and there's that's not by accident. To keep a people unaware. That's how you control them. So right now, it's a fight. I think the peaceful warriors, the poets and the writers and the students and the children and the housewives and anybody else has to know that if they don't become a part, then they've become a part in a very scary, horrible way.